from the campus of Westfield State University. This is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. Visit on the web at baystatedental.com. WSKB's programming is generously underwritten by Whip City Fiber. Westfield Gas and Electric wants to help you decide where they offer gigabit speed Whip City Fiber Internet next. Turn your neighborhood into a fiberhood. Get on the list today at www.whipcityfiber.com. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:04. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host. I'm in studio this morning with the chairman of the board, Pete Coles. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning.
So happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, today is February 14th. 31 degrees outside, going up into the mid-40s. It's actually going to be a nice day.
I'll take it.
We will take it. You know, it's so funny, Pete, because exactly a week ago, we had a snowstorm, if you recall.
Right.
It turned into an ice event.
Yes.
Yeah, so not so much fun. But today...
We were at City Hall a week ago.
We were at City Hall a week ago. So it was an interesting time, but it's been such an interesting winter. You know, we've had these bouts of snow and ice, and then the weekend comes, the weather warms up, we have rain. So
Yes.
It's been so consistent. We've had rain almost every weekend, and then it melts.
That's also why we have monster potholes.
Yes, that is why we have monster potholes.
Yes.
I was at a meeting with the mayor and some of the other department heads and Dave Billups yesterday, and you know, we have to go around the room and you kind of talk about what's going on in your department. And poor Dave, you know, we get to Dave and he just starts laughing. So it's like, okay, it's all about the potholes now.
Yeah, of course it is.
Because this is like the worst, as he said, it's just sort of the worst scenario. That's icing, and then you've got the warm weather, and then you've got the heavy rains.
Right. We've had
awful.
serious freezes, then quick warm ups, then the rain just to expand all the cracks.
Yep.
And you know, it's great for the emergency management side of the house because we won't have flooding.
Yes.
But it's bad for the DPW side of the house because they got some monsters out there.
They do. And as Dave said, it's earlier than we normally see these enormous potholes. So usually we see these in March. And he said everything is just, you know, we've moved everything up a tad.
Yes.
Several weeks.
Yes.
So yeah, but you know, thanks to the DPW, they're doing their best, guys. You know, it's a tough job.
Yeah.
We live in New England. I keep telling people that if you want really great roads, go to Florida.
People think the only place with potholes is Westfield.
I live in West Springfield, and we have some that are
around this weekend, and it's bad everywhere.
It's awful. Yeah, exactly. Westfield, I hate to tell you, you are not. This is not unique. You know, potholes in Westfield, not unique to Westfield. Believe me, West Springfield, Route 5, they're just, you know.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. It's just everywhere. We can't keep up with it. But it is going to be, it feels almost balmy out there to me today because there's no wind. very, it's clear skies and going up into the mid 40s. And I think we are actually supposed to get some rain tonight into tomorrow. But Valentine's Day itself,
I heard it was going to be
nice.
clear. But I don't know.
Okay.
I'll double check.
That was the latest that I heard just on my way in. And it didn't sound like, showery. I probably shouldn't even use the word rain. So we'll check on that just to give everybody an update. So Valentine's Day, it is also Ash Wednesday. It is the beginning of Lent today.
I know.
So
Did you hear Kenny yesterday lamenting the end of the Punchki season?
No, I didn't.
It's
hard for me to listen to. It's hard for me to hear much of Kenny's show because by that time I'm on my way into the senior center. And actually, I couldn't really concentrate. I had to turn the radio off because by 6:00 my phone was buzzing. We had all kinds of problems going on. It was Brown Bag Day. Karen Noblet had to take the morning off, for a family emergency. And she coordinates the brown bag. So that's always challenging. So I'm busy texting other staff members, that are going to fill in. Wear your jeans today because you're going to be,
you're jumping in,
lugging food all over the place. And then I get to the office and Carol Shannon is on the phone because the food bank had called and left a message saying that the truck had no brakes. So the truck was in repair. Now we got 200 people coming for their brown bag.
Uh-oh.
And not a lot of time to let them know that you're going to have to wait because we don't know when the truck is coming. That's the way the day started. And I have to tell you, it didn't get much better. As a matter of fact, it was one of those days, Pete, where I had something that I needed to do with Gary so I needed to be home at 5:15. And
Yes.
when I left, I literally flew out of the senior center. Karen and Mary Lou had to leave a little early yesterday. And I had to be there for this appointment, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. But anyway, so I ended up having to go back to the senior center because I locked the front door. That's about all I locked. I mean, it was just looked like a bomb went off when I left there. So I had to do what I needed to do and then go back.
Oh boy.
And then, kind of tidy everything up, lock it up, get it all squared away. So it was one of those days from start to finish yesterday. But, it all worked out.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yep.
And I have to say, too, we haven't even mentioned the Olympics, but the problem with the Olympics is I get caught up in it and then I don't get enough sleep. So yes, last night I got caught up in the snowboarding and Shaun White and his gold medal. And
I've seen a little bit of it,
phenomenal.
but that's about it.
Yeah,
Like,
I haven't watched a lot.
I haven't seen much
purposely.
TV lately.
Yeah, no, me either. But
Sunday I watched TV most of the day because it was pouring. And I really just didn't want to go out on Sunday. I just puttered around the house.
Right. Yeah. I did. I
made a big vat of spaghetti sauce to freeze.
Okay.
And that's what I did on my Sunday.
Well, I actually worked on Sunday. So Sunday for me was because we had the Domus. We had the Have a Heart, the Dan Kane singers.
Yep.
We're at the senior center. So so we need to talk about that. So we had 250 people at that concert. 250 people. But, Mary Lou was with me. Thank you. Huge shout out to Mary Lou Najalski and Agnes Fleming, who saved my life because 250 people in the senior center is max. We used every chair that we had.
I'm sure
I had
you
no
did.
chairs for the singers. I told Dan Kane, I said, if you want chairs for the singers, you're going to have to borrow them. I would suggest maybe some folding chairs from one of the churches.
Is this pre-sold, $225?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And they wanted to sell tickets at the door, and I said, absolutely not. Because they said, well, not everybody will be there. I said, I don't care.
We're
I said,
full. We're going to break some fire codes.
That is exactly what I said. And not only that, just safety codes. So Mary Lou and I said, note to self, we're going to max out at 200 next time. Because I was so nervous. You put people, because we have some people with canes and walkers, and we had a gentleman in a wheelchair, and that's just like added bulk. And when the chairs are so close together, it's just I was a wreck. But the concert was wonderful. Mm-hmm. Thankfully, we did have a few people who didn't come. I'm assuming either because of the weather, they weren't feeling well, but that place was packed. It was full.
That's good.
It was mostly his younger singers. And they were adorable. I mean, the crowd loved them. And then there was a group of men. I think there were 8 of them. And they did, they did a patriotic, sort of a
tenor thing.
Yeah. Oh, it was just magnificent. So
cool.
It was really great. Agnes was selling 50-50 raffle tickets. So there was a lot of money extra money that was made. They had raffle prizes. So they made some extra money. So that all went to Domus. It all went to Our House.
Wow, that's great.
Which is the old Red Cross building on Broad Street. So, and there were, and Ann Lentini, who coordinated this, and Kathy Tansey did just a wonderful job. And they had some terrific volunteers. Lisa McMahon was there, and Barbara Trant was there. Just some of the old standbys that you can always count on them. I was a little nervous going into it because I didn't really know how much help Ann had.
Right.
So I was, kind of recruiting my staff, but actually there was plenty of help, and
so they were prepared
and it all worked
for this.
out. It all worked out, and the seniors loved it. I got such positive feedback the next day.
That's great.
So it was a really.
Did you recruit them all for the lip sync battle?
No, and I have to tell you, we need to do some major recruiting for the lip sync. I didn't have time, Pete. I was running around like a nutcase, just making sure everybody stayed safe, and the sound guy was there early, and I'm.
Setting up,
we have to be careful with wires and, crossing doorways and all that good stuff.
Yep.
But no, we need to, we'll talk about the lip sync battle later because we need more teams. We got another one yesterday. Highland Valley Elder Services I think their board is putting together a team, which is hysterical.
That's funny.
Yeah, which is really good. But we
Bay
need
State
more
Health
teams.
Foundation. Hello.
I would love to see Bay State Health Foundation. So speaking of Bay State Health Foundation, so I'll give you my, so this is why I had to leave yesterday and come back. So Bay State Health Foundation is writing a story about Dr. Gary Gorman's heart surgery and rehab and recovery.
Oh, cool.
And so last night, they wanted to do a photo shoot at our house to go with the story.
Yep.
So I'm thinking, okay, fine. This is going to take about 10 minutes because they're going to take, 10 pictures. He must have taken 200 pictures, Pete. I swear to God. Gary said to me, he goes, now I know why models get paid a lot of money because you're just in this position. And he looked like something off of TV. The photographer was moving around, stay still, okay, smile.
Did you take pictures of them taking pictures?
Jenna did, who was with the photographer and who works for Bay State. She works for Kathy Tobin at Bay State Foundation. And she did. She was taking pictures on her cell phone of the whole process of him taking pictures of us. And so we're pretty excited about it. And
cool.
I'm pretty proud of Gary. So it is pretty cool. They were, they're pretty excited. I mean, to have somebody have open heart surgery and then a year later do, run a half marathon over in Ireland. So that was pretty fun. So I couldn't be late for the photo shoot. So I made sure that I was there for the photo shoot, which again, I thought was going to take about 10 minutes. It took about an hour. So then beelined it back to the senior center, did what I needed to do. But
was Gary laughing as you were running out the door?
No, I told him. I said I hate to tell you this, but I got to go back. But he had just flown in from the Dominican Republic. He did his annual
golf trip, so he's all tan and everything.
He's all, I honestly, Pete, I can't tell you if he's tan because other than doing this photo shoot, I haven't seen the man in. We're ships passing in the night.
Right.
So then Jenna from the from Bay State Health Foundation. I'm sorry, I can't remember her last name, but anyway, she said to us, well, today was an option to do the photo shoot, but she said, I thought it was Valentine's Day. I didn't want you to. So Gary says in front of her to me, like I'm hearing this sort of for the first time, oh, well, I'm not going to be around Valentine's Day anyway because it's the indoor track, whatever it is, Pioneer Valley Championships or whatever it is. He's going to be at the Reggie Lewis because he coaches the East Longmeadow girls track team. So he's going to be at the Reggie Lewis Center for the day. Well, in the afternoon. Yeah, Boston, which is out in the Boston area. So, honey, happy Valentine's Day. I left him his card and gift on the kitchen table and said to me last night, okay, I don't know when I'll see you. And I said, okay, well, it's been nice. I haven't seen him in like a week and a half. And, so because he didn't get home Monday night until midnight. By that time I was in bed. We literally are ships passing in the night. So
I think you should take the day off after the show and go out to Boston and surprise him.
Are you kidding me? I have
No, I'm not kidding
2
you.
grants and a newsletter due within the next week and a half.
Have your staff do it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that would be so great. And they would not really even know where to start on that.
Staff?
They wouldn't know where to start on that.
You get them started.
But
and then
here's
take
my
off.
idea.
I'm telling you,
my idea,
kick
which
her
is my idea. I have no interest in driving to Boston today. None. Zero. And he's gonna be running around anyway. What am I? But my idea would be tomorrow night because I remember I was listening to you and Bob Plass yesterday talking about Valentine's Day plans, and one of your ideas was to go out for dinner last night. Well, my idea is that Gary and I go out for dinner tomorrow night because I figure, it's Thursday and it would be the day after Valentine's Day, because we know today's going to be a little crazy, but it's before the weekend. So I thought that would be a good time to go down and reintroduce ourselves.
There's a firefighter thing going on. I think it's tomorrow. No, it's next week, next Thursday, called Therapy Thursday. It's a fundraiser for firefighters. And I'm trying to think of the whole thing, but I saw it on Facebook.
Okay.
And I was invited to it, so I'm like, I'm going to go to that.
Is it like...
That's a shortstop.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, like my favorite place. That's probably where we'll end up going tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's maybe next Thursday.
That's okay, too. If it's next Thursday,
Dwayne Deslitz is hosting it.
Okay. So
one
if
of the
you
firefighters.
can text me the information, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just go and invite myself. All right. So it is 6:17. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses. So on this Valentine's Day, I've decided to do a little different twist on Valentine's Day. So instead of getting into all the romantic stuff, which only some people can really celebrate if you're involved romantically with someone, I'm going with the sort of generic love theme and the not necessarily so romantic, but just, love your family, your children, your siblings, your parents, your spouse, just that kind of thing. So our first song is by Jackie DeShannon. It's called What the World Needs Now Is Love.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Barnes & Noble College Bookstore at Westfield State University, right here in the Ely Campus Center. Whether you're a student, faculty member, or friend of the university, it's the place to shop. Everything from Westfield State t-shirts, sweatshirts, and gift merchandise to all of your academic needs. Offering textbook materials in new, used, ebook, and rental formats. Visit the bookstore on campus or online at www.westfieldstate.edu. www.bncollege.com. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Commercial Distributing Company of Westfield. Now in its third generation of family ownership, Commercial is one of the premier beverage distributors of Western Massachusetts. The Plasek family and the staff of Commercial Distributing wishes you good times throughout the year and urges you to drink responsibly.
Underwriting for WSKB's community radio programming is brought to you in part by CrossFit Swarm, offering CrossFit, BX, Body Express, boot camp style classes, as well as Swarm Fit cardio fitness classes, incorporating fitness moves and choreographed to fun, upbeat music. CrossFit Swarm's coaches provide the most current, highest quality training, nutrition, and fitness programs. On the web at CrossFitSwarm.com or at 4 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Friday mornings is something different on 89.5 FM. It's JP's Talk About Town.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:23. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. It is Wednesday, February 14th. It's Valentine's Day. We're celebrating non-romantic love. So, well,
Kenny is appreciative of that.
Yeah, romantic love is great, but the fact of the matter is not everyone is involved in a romantic relationship. Not everybody's married. Not everybody wants to be. So we're celebrating love in general. Just, love of family, love of your friends, your coworkers, your job, whatever you love. So that's where we're going this Valentine's Day. It is also Ash Wednesday, so we'll talk a little bit about that in a little while. So let's do some famous birthdays. It's 6:23.
Okay.
My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and the other voice that you hear behind the board is Pete Coles, our producer and chairman of the board, as we like to call him. And by the way, for those of you who...
Did you hear Bob's February thing for me?
Yes, it was
the fan favorite of February.
I know. For whatever reason, I can't. I think that's a great one too, and I like it. I have to just try to remember that.
It's a nice one. First nice one in a while.
Yeah, it is. It is a very nice one. Later on, second hour, we have Joe Rouse from the health department coming, and Steve Cipriani is coming with him. So we're going to be talking about all things restaurant and health and restaurants and so forth. So, and some other stuff as well. All right. So famous birthday. So who was born on Valentine's Day? Jimmy Hoffa, the late Jimmy Hoffa, activist, was born February 14th. So this is my, this is the one I went into.
Allegedly resigning in cement.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the one I decided to go into some, usually I take one birthday and kind of go into some detail and background because I just found this story fascinating.
Okay.
So Jimmy Hoffa was born February 14th, 1913 in Brazil, Indiana. The date of his disappearance at the age of 62 was July 30th, 1975. So here's the background on Jimmy Hoffa. He dropped out of school to help support his family and eventually went to work on a loading dock for a grocery store chain in Detroit, Michigan. There he orchestrated his first labor strike, helping his coworkers land a better contract. And what he did was he used a newly arrived shipment of strawberries as a bargaining chip. The workers wouldn't unload the strawberries until they had a new deal. And of course, strawberries go bad.
Go bad quickly,
yeah,
yes.
Exactly. In the 1930s, Hoffa joined the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, and he eventually became the president of the union's Detroit chapter. In 1952, when he became the vice president of the entire union, and then in 1957, he won the presidency of the Teamsters, replacing Dave Beck. In 1961, he scored one of his decisive victories as union president. Hoffa brought together almost all of the truck drivers in North America under one contract, which, when you really think about that must have been some major accomplishment, with all these independent truck drivers. Both the FBI and the U.S. Attorney General, at the time that was Robert F. Kennedy, kept a close eye on Hoffa, believing that he had advanced himself and his union with assistance from organized crime.
Absolutely.
Okay, then. And as did his predecessor, by the way. On July 30th, 1975, Hoffa left his Detroit area home for a meeting with a local crime figure and a mob-connected union leader from New Jersey at a restaurant in Bloomfield Township, Michigan. The get-together was supposed to be about settling a feud, but Hoffa was the only one who showed up. What happened to the former union boss after that remains a mystery. His car was found in the restaurant's parking lot, but there were no clues to Hoffa's whereabouts. He was declared legally dead in 1982.
The other two guys showed up.
Hey, yeah, right, exactly.
They weren't there for dinner.
Yeah, exactly, but not to have a salad. All right. It is also the birthday of the late Jack Benny, actor, radio personality. He was born February 14th, 1894 in Chicago, and he died at the age of 80 in 1974. Jack Benny came of age during World War I. He developed an ear for music and he played the violin. He enjoyed entertaining people, and in the 1920s, he became a successful vaudeville player with a knack for comedy. By the late 1930s, he had become the king of radio with his own show, the
Jack Benny Show.
the Jack Benny program. In 1950, he started appearing on a television version, which alternated weekly with his radio show. I don't know how that works. So every other week it was radio, every other week it was TV during the 50s. The TV show ended 15 years later, after which Benny made guest TV appearances until he died on December 26th, the day after Christmas in 1974 in Beverly Hills, California. So happy birthday to the late Jack Benny. It is also the birthday of the late Florence Henderson, actress born February 14th, 1934 in Dale, Indiana. She died at the age of 82 just a couple years ago in 2016. Florence Henderson started her career in theater, appearing on Broadway, and she also starred in the national tour of Rodgers and Hammerstein's Oklahoma. Henderson moved over to television and became The Tonight Show's first female guest host. In 1969, she landed the role that made her famous, Carol Brady on The Brady Bunch. So happy birthday to the late Florence Henderson. It is also the birthday of the late Gregory Hines, actor and dancer. And I have to admit that I did not realize that Gregory Hines had passed away, and he died a long time ago. He was born in 1946, on February 14th, 1946 in New York City, and he died in 2003 at the age of 57.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I do, yeah.
Gregory Hines studied dance from an early age and performed with family members at the Apollo Theater. He launched a distinguished Broadway career that won him a Tony Award in 1992 for the headlining role in George C. Wolfe's musical tribute, Jelly's Last Jam. That was the name of the show. In 1981, Hines landed his first film role as a Roman slave in Mel Brooks' History of the World Part 1 as a last-minute replacement for an ailing Richard Pryor. That role proved a stepping stone in Hines' film career, and he went on to star in a range of movies, including the 1984 film The Cotton Club and White Knights opposite Mikhail Baryshnikov the following year. So, I never saw White Knights, but Gregory Hines and Mikhail Baryshnikov, that would be some really great dancing movie. He died of cancer at the age of 57. So happy birthday.
He was in a great movie with called Running Scared.
Yeah, I remember that.
They were playing two detectives.
Yes.
Who was that with? What's his name? The comedian. I'll have to look it up. But
okay.
They played two detectives that went down to Key West.
Yeah.
And opened a bar.
I do remember that. And then finally, it is the birthday of football player Drew Bledsoe. He was born February 14th, 1972 in Ellensburg, Washington. He is 46 years old today. Drew Bledsoe was a star quarterback at Washington State University before he skipped his senior year to go professional. In 1993, he was the number 1 NFL draft pick and joined the New England Patriots. After nearly 8 years, he was traded to the Buffalo Bills and then moved on to the Dallas Cowboys, where he was replaced by Tony Romo. Bledsoe retired in 2007. So happy 46th birthday, Drew Bledsoe. It is 6:31. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. So, Pete, do you have my next song queued up?
Yes.
Okay. So let me just do a
I
little...
have the radio edit of it.
Okay, yeah. Let me just do a little intro to this song. It's called "Where Is the Love." It's by Black Eyed Peas, and it's a rap song, really. Probably not so much.
It's in the playlist here.
Yeah, not so much the style that I would normally go with, but I have to tell you, it's a powerful song. As I said, we're kind of talking about unromantic love today. If you have the opportunity, the video for this is really powerful. If you have a chance to watch it on YouTube, it's called "Where Is the Love." It's by Black Eyed Peas, and it is kind of rap, so just get ready. But if you can listen to the chorus.
Westfield Bank. For more than 160 years, Westfield Bank has been an important community presence and commercial leader in the Pioneer Valley. With convenient full banking services in Westfield, West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut, visit us on the web at westfieldbank.org. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. Visit on the web at baystatedental.com. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Friday mornings is something different on 89.5 FM. It's JP's Talk About Town.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University. This is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:37. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host. I'm in studio this morning on this Valentine's Day with Pete Coles. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning. I realized we should probably have that read.
Oh yeah. Yes, we should have that red. It's that looks very Valentine's Day. So we have lights behind us. We have sort of the twinkle lights behind us.
My donation to the students.
Yes, and the really great thing is that Pete has it hooked up because he's a tech guy, so they can do all these really great cool things. And so he has it hooked up so we can change colors.
Yes, I have my little remote.
All red. Oh, that looks very Valentine's Day-ish. It's cold in here, but I did wear my red shirt, but I have my sweater on.
The air conditioner was on when I came in. It was set at 64, so I have it turned off.
No wonder it's. It feels comfortable, but it's not. It's not warm by any means. So today is, besides being Valentine's Day,
yes,
it is also National Organ Donor Day. So we need to talk about that.
A little heart thing.
Yeah. So observed each year on February 14th on Valentine's Day, National Organ Donor Day is a day to increase awareness about organ donation and the lives that can be saved. In the United States, more than 120,000 people are waiting for a life-saving organ donation. National Donor Day Organ Donation Day focuses on 5 different types of donations: organs, tissues, marrow, platelets, and blood. Many nonprofit health organizations sponsor blood and marrow drives and organ tissue signups across the nation. Approximately every 2 seconds, there is someone in the United States who needs blood, which translates to a need of over 41,000 daily donations. So you can look into becoming a donor, and I have a couple of websites for you. Visit it. The website is donatelifenw.org. Donate Life. I don't know what the NW, Northwest, I don't know. Donatelifenw.org. And the other website is organdonor.gov. G-O-V, for more information on organ donation. The history of National Donor Day was started in 1998 by the Saturn Corporation and its United Auto Workers partners with the support of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and many nonprofit health organizations. And we've had people in on this show, on our Wake Up Wednesday show, I want to say from Bay State Health, talking about organ donation.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
And just the need and how important it is. And so Organ Donation Day. It is also, I also want to mention too, today is Ash Wednesday. We talked about that.
Yes.
Well, we mentioned it. So let me give you a little bit of information about Ash Wednesday, because I always kind of wondered it's the first day of Lent for those of us who are Catholic. It's the first day of Lent, which goes for 49 days. It's a long Lent this year. It is a long. Last year was short. It's a long Lent when you give something up or take something on. Some people do both. I try to do both, but some people try to give something up. Make sacrifices. Typically, I typically give up, sweets of any kind. Actually, this Lent season is good because it's just over 6 weeks. Yep. Which usually that's a good way to break a habit. It is. That's exactly it. And as a matter of fact, Pete, I'm glad you brought that up, because my thing about Lent is, for me, I'm better during Lent than I am for New Year's resolution stuff. I don't do that well with the New Year's resolutions, but when it's Lent and I'm committed to it, and because it's a finite period of time, I don't break my Lent, so I typically give up sweets of all kinds. So yesterday it was like, okay, stopped at Dunkin' Donuts is my last hot chocolate for the next 6 weeks. All candy, all goodies. Everybody, my kitchen staff knows it.
I try not to keep them around the house.
Yep. So none of that. Gary typically gives up Facebook. And that's tough for when you're used to kind of checking in on things and so forth. So I don't know if he's going to do that this year because I haven't seen him long enough to ask him what he's doing. But anyway, here's the thing on Ash Wednesday. Ash Wednesday is one of the most popular and important days in the liturgical calendar. It opens Lent, a season of fasting and prayer. Ash Wednesday takes place 46 days before Easter Sunday and is chiefly observed by Catholics, although many other Christians observe it too. Ash Wednesday comes from the ancient Jewish tradition of penance and fasting. The practice includes the wearing of ashes on the head. The ashes symbolize the dust from which God made us. That's the belief. Ashes also symbolize grief, in this case, grief that we have sinned and caused division from God. Writings from the 2nd century church refer to the wearing of ashes as a sign of penance. Priests administer ashes during Mass, and all are invited to accept the ashes as a visible symbol of penance. Even non-Christians are welcome to receive the ashes. The ashes are made from blessed palm branches taken from the previous year's Palm Sunday
yep.
Mass. Right, exactly. So, but you know what? As you were saying, that 6-week period is really an excellent period of time to break a habit. So I always say to people, if you want to if you want to lose weight, if you want to cut down on smoking or drinking or whatever you want to do, or take something on. If you want to be more meditative, or if you want to exercise more, or spend more time with your family, or whatever positive thing you want to do, this is really an excellent time to do it. When Grace was little, this is a great idea if you have young children. And I'm going to pat myself on the back because I came up with this one on my own. So when Grace was little, she was in school. So I would say like 5, 6, 7 years old. I challenged her during Lent to do something kind for someone, not necessarily a family member, but it could be a family member each day. And whatever kind thing she did, she would have to tell us what it was at dinner. And we had a jar on the table, and we would put a quarter in the jar. And so, it was funny, for example, one day I went to pick her up at the bus stop, we walked down and it's at the end of our street, and it was trash day. And so the trashman had come and the cans were still out. And so she said, oh, if I take, Mr. and Mrs. Beals trash can up to the garage so they don't have to walk down to the end of the driveway, would that count as, a good deed? And I said, yeah, that's a great thing. Yeah. So she did that. And for our neighbor Jane, who's elderly, they're both older adults. So, she took their trash cans up. So we put the quarter in. And then at the end of Lent, we had all these quarters. And I said to her, okay, you choose, the local charity that the quarters will go to. So it was kind of a nice
cool
way of teaching your children, to think of somebody else and take something else on. Because a lot of people will do that. They'll sort of take something on instead of giving something up. And so anyway, so that's my take on that. When we come back, I think we'll take our break now. It's 6:44. But when we come back, we have to talk about Pete and his smoker because he's having a lot of fun with his Christmas.
I want to have good weather.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's 6:44. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses. So again, we're doing non-romantic love songs today. So this song is just one of I loved this movie. First of all, this song came from the movie To Sir with Love, starring Sidney Poitier, and it was about a teacher who was black who went to work in England in a very tough neighborhood, bunch of pretty much with a bunch of hoodlums, and this was this movie, I think To Sir with Love was from the 60s, so this was really one of those coming of age movies, and he turned things around, and the song is To Sir with Love. It's sung by Lulu, and she played one of the students in his class, and he had the students refer to him as Sir. He was trying to teach them respect and manners and so forth. So the song is a song that when he left that job, of course they were all devastated because by that time they had created quite a bond with their teacher, and so the song is To Sir with Love, and it's kind of almost like an open letter that she wrote. So
Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. Visit bettsplumbing.com or 14 Coleman Avenue, Westfield. Public welcome.
Underwriting for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield, serving the youth of the Whip City and surrounding communities since 1969. For more information on the Great Futures Club for ages 3 to 5, happening weekdays, and the Club Teen Center for ages 11 and older, weekdays from 6:30 till 8 p.m., go online at bcgwestfield.org or visit the club at 28 West Silver Street. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield. Great futures start here. Underwriting support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Greater Westfield Chamber of Commerce, the voice of business for the Greater Westfield communities. Informing, educating, advocating, the Chamber provides opportunities for members to make meaningful connections on local, regional, and state levels. For more information on the Chamber's many events, workshops, and programs, as well as the benefits of membership, visit westfieldbiz.org. The Chamber focuses on the most important economy, yours. WSKB's programming is generously underwritten by Whip City Fiber. Westfield Gas and Electric wants to help you decide where they offer gigabit speed Whip City Fiber Internet next. Turn your neighborhood into a fiberhood. Get on the list today at www.whipcityfiber.com. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
Thursday morning from 6 till 8, it's Patrick Berry, owner of the Westfield News Group,
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:50. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses. It is Wednesday, February 14th. It is Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day. It is Ash Wednesday, so it is the beginning of Lent. So if you want to start a new good habit, now's a great time to do it. You have 6 weeks to get your act together here, and that should be plenty of time to do that. You know what? Before we get into anything else, I do have some announcements that I want to make. I'll start with some of the senior center announcements because we have a lot of stuff going on.
You got a stack there.
I have a whole stack here. So first of all, we have our Beach Day Indoor Picnic tomorrow, and believe it or not, we did not sell out yet.
Really?
So we probably have about a dozen tickets left. There aren't a lot.
The weather might be nice. Pick up a little bit, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, that's true. And, the interesting thing is that we do have a lot of snowbirds that head south that typically would be at these parties. So so for those of you who don't get to go to the parties because we've sold out of tickets before you can get them,
there's still a chance.
Today's the last day. So get your tickets today. It's our beach door indoor picnic tomorrow. So you can dress in your beach attire. You can, put on your favorite T-shirt. Bring your flip-flops. You can change from your boots or your sandals or your sneakers
Shoes.
into your sandals. Right, exactly. So the entertainment begins at 11 a.m. and the entertainment is Spunk and Sass. It's a husband and wife team, and they are terrific. We have a picnic menu. We're doing barbecued pulled pork, cornbread, potato salad, baked beans, coleslaw, and root beer floats for dessert. So we're thinking summer and beach-type thoughts. Tickets are $5, and they do have to be purchased in advance. So you have until this afternoon at 4:30 to get your tickets. You can. And you also want to bring a buck. We're going to do a 50-50 raffle. So that's
There you
Beach
go.
Day, our Beach Day Indoor Picnic at the Senior Center. Next Thursday, we're hosting a very special event. It's called the Veterans Town Hall. And this is sponsored by the City of Westfield Veterans Services Office, the VA Central Western Mass Healthcare System, the VA Boston Regional Office, and the VA National Cemetery Administration. Representatives from all of those organizations will be in one place at one time at the Senior
one-stop
Center.
shopping.
One-stop shopping. Next Thursday, which is Thursday, February 22nd from 5 to 7:30 p.m. So for those of you who work, you'll have time to come afterward. The Senior Center obviously is located at 45 Noble Street. There will be questions and answers with John P. Collins, who's director of the VA Central Western Mass. We'll have claims representatives, National Cemetery Administration officials. You can share your experiences and suggestions. There will be information on benefits. You can actually enroll in VA healthcare. And for those of you who want to do that, I don't know what this form is, but I think if you're a veteran, you would want to bring your DD-214 form with you. That would make it easier for them to enroll you.
That's your dishonorable discharge form. I think that's
your
what it
honorable.
is.
I'm thinking honorable
sorry.
discharge form.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. So anyway, if you have any questions about this event, I can give you the logistics, but if you have any VA related questions, you would call the outreach office for Central and Western Massachusetts at it would be 413-584. This is up in Leeds. 584-4040.
Or your local veterans agent can help you out too.
Yep. Bobby Callahan and James Jordan over at the Senior Center can help out. So that's next Thursday. And we're trying to spread the word on that. So that should be really informative.
Yeah.
Pete mentioned before the Friends of the Westfield Senior Center is hosting a lip sync battle on Sunday, March 4th at 2 p.m. But we need some lip sync teams. So if you want to form a team, it's really simple. You get together your family, your friends, your coworkers. You form a team. You don't need any musical skill, folks, because you're lip syncing. It's not karaoke. You don't have to sing. You just have to mouth the words. Some costumes might be fun. Some props might be fun, but lots of animation, obviously. So the first 15 acts that are registered are in, and you will be playing for a charity of your choice. And the charity, excuse me.
Good timing.
Exactly. All right. So you're going to play for the favorite charity of your choice. And that charity, if you are an organization, it can be a program within your organization. So I'm trying to convince the Children's Museum to do this. And then if they want to raise some money for, a program within the Children's Museum, or if they want to purchase a special, display or something like that, they can certainly do that. The YMCA has a team formed. The Senior Center, of course, we have a team formed. We'll be playing for the Alzheimer's Association.
Attention, Chuck Kelly. Get your board members together. I think you guys could have some fun with it.
Yes, and I actually sent Chuck, because he asked me for it. I sent him a copy of the registration, but I haven't heard back from them yet. So,
get on the stick, boys.
Yeah, we got to get our teams together, because we don't want to have to cancel the event, but we need enough teams to have the event. And the tickets are on sale at the Senior Center. They're $5 a piece. This is sponsored by the Arbors at Westfield, is contributing to the winner, and Keenan Law Offices to the second place team. And the audience will get to vote. So it's going to be a fun event. And, a Sunday afternoon should be lots of fun.
Yep.
So join in. We are officially out of tax appointments at the Senior Center. However, remember that we had Jen Fernandez on the show last week from the Thrive program, and they are doing also free tax preparation. So if you are in need of having your taxes done and you have a simple tax form to do, you can call the following number, which is 612-0206. and ask for an appointment at the Thrive program is located at the Episcopal Church of the Atonement, right at 36 Court Street here in Westfield. So again, that number is 612-0206. They also are doing taxes through the same program through over in Springfield, in Chicopee, and Holyoke. So my staff has all of the phone numbers. So if you call the Senior Center for your tax program, for a tax appointment, we're going to tell you that we don't have any more. We are full out, but they will give you those phone numbers. So we're also looking Fran Aguda is looking for volunteers for her companion program. So it takes only 2 hours a week, and volunteer companions are reimbursed for their gas mileage. They do things like take folks to medical appointments. They do some friendly visiting. They may do some grocery shopping or run errands, either with or for older adults who are primarily homebound. and primarily at risk for institutionalization, i.e. nursing home placement. But these are folks who are living on their own and with supports. One of the supports being our companion volunteers. They're able to stay at home. So that's the whole goal. But Fran is always looking for great volunteers, and you can call her at the center at 562-6435. And we actually had a meeting with Fran and Mary Lou Najalski and Agnes Fleming, our activities and program folks. We're going to do a little recruitment for Fran for her to recruit some volunteers. So we're going to be doing a kind of a party a recruitment party in April. So stay tuned for more information on that. But in the meantime, certainly if you're interested in that, we would love to have you join us. Before the 7 o'clock break, I'm going to do one more announcement. Today is the second Wednesday of the month, and many of you know that we have partnered with Armbrook Village for Westfield's Memory Cafe. This is an opportunity for folks with dementia, cognitive impairments, any kind of Alzheimer's, anything like that, for the caregivers and the person who's living just in the community, to go over to Armbrook Village at 2 o'clock on the second Wednesday of every month. There will be some type of a program that they do. Sometimes it's entertainment, sometimes it's reminiscing. It may be art, it may be music, just something that's kind of fun, stress-free for both the caregiver as well as the person with dementia and memory impairment. So it goes from 2 to 3:15. And if you'd like more information about that, you can call Armbrook Village at 568-0000. And the only thing that I do want to remind folks is this is not where you drop the person off. This is both for the caregiver as well as for the person for whom you are giving that care. It's a together kind of event. And I'm sure with today being Valentine's Day, Beth will have something really special cooked up. And speaking of cooked up, they also always provide snacks, and the food at Armbrook Village is second to none. It's outstanding. So that's this afternoon at 2 o'clock. You can give them a call at 568-0000 and take your loved one out for a nice Valentine's, because even people with dementia like to celebrate love and Valentine's Day. It is 7 o'clock. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses. We'll take our top of the hour break, and in about 15 minutes or so, we'll have
Noble Hospital, a brand new name for a Westfield institution which is improving the health of our community every day with quality and compassion. Noble Hospital and Bay State Health, better together.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. Visit on the web at baystatedental.com. WSKB's programming is generously underwritten by Whip City Fiber. Westfield Gas and Electric wants to help you decide where they offer gigabit speed Whip City Fiber Internet next. Turn your neighborhood into a fiberhood. Get on the list today at www.whipcityfiber.com. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
He rules the roost on Thursday from 6 till 10. It's Patrick Berry.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:05. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. So, Pete, in about 3 weeks on March 3rd, which is the day before our lip sync battle.
I know, I saw that.
YMCA is having the Greater Westfield Chocolate Chowder and Chili Cook-Off.
I've never been before.
I've never been either. But it just looks really great. It's from 11:30 to 1:30. Tickets will be sold at the Westfield YMCA in advance, starting in February. So they must be selling them now for $8, or you could get 4 for $30 or $10 at the door. This year's fundraiser will support the Live Strong program. Live Strong at the YMCA is a free 12-week exercise program for cancer survivors who are currently in or have completed treatment and are physically deconditioned. So deconditioned because they've gone through treatment,
right?
Done with treatment. Let's kind of get strong. So the YMCA is welcoming chefs and owners who might be interested in promoting their business and cooking for a good cause. Chefs will have the opportunity to showcase their cooking skills by cooking either a chili, a chowder, or a sweet chocolate delight. So for more information on this, you can contact Cindy Agan at the YMCA at 568-8631. All right, so Pete, so now that we are on to talking about food, so let's talk about your smoker. So Pete got a smoker for Christmas.
Yes.
And he's been smoking. So I heard
the caveat for that was I had to cook for the Super Bowl for my brother.
Okay.
For his Super Bowl party.
All right.
Which started out as a lot of people and then ended up being like 6 of us. So I bought a lot of food because I thought all the kids were going to be around.
Oh, okay.
So one of my brother's kids is with a school trip in Orlando. Another one is going to a friend's house for his Super Bowl party.
Yeah, they're kids, you know.
And then my brother's
they got a better offer.
Girlfriend's kids they're all gone too because they have cars and stuff. They're all gone.
Got a better offer.
So I'm like, okay. So I bought a lot of food.
Okay. So what did you make?
I made pulled pork.
Ooh.
A lot of pulled pork.
In the smoker.
And a brisket. First attempt.
Okay.
So I cooked it all, and Jim Wiggs, who's a native of South Carolina,
yes,
saw it.
Complete with the accent, by the way.
Texted me and said, "Hey, can I get some of that?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, take some. I got plenty." So I brought it over to him. I met up with him at the emergency management office, and he tried some, and he goes, "I'm paying you for this." He goes, "I don't buy barbecue around here because generally it stinks."
Oh.
He said, "But this is like home."
So that was,
and he kept eating it.
You know, barbecue down south, even now it's more popular up here, but it's been popular down south forever.
For 150
Oh my goodness!
years.
Because my brother lives in Tennessee, and he's been down there for a long, long time. And I remember when Dave was in law school, he went to the University of Tennessee Law School, and I went to visit him, and he took me to this barbecue place. And I didn't even know what barbecue was, but I'm like, "What is this?" Yeah, exactly. And it was phenomenal.
So he's eating it as we're standing there talking. He's like, "I'm bad. This is really good," because I'm going to freeze some of this. So,
excellent.
So my brother and his crew said the same thing, and so I'm like, "All right, well, okay." So I bought. I don't like boiled corned beef.
Right.
I'm Irish and I'm sick of it. So
Just want to change.
So I'm like, all right. Well, I said, you know what? I'm going to try smoking corned beef. So I Googled smoking corned beef, and it says, yeah, if you take a little bit extra and buy some coriander, you can make pastrami. And I'm like, ooh, I like pastrami. I'm like, you know what? For $10-12, I'll give it a shot, right? So right now, sitting in the fridge is a marinated corned beef.
Okay.
Getting ready to smoke this afternoon when I get to lunch. Start it, and by the time dinner hits, it'll be ready to go.
How long does it take to actually in the smoker, Pete?
Hour and a half per pound.
Okay. That's not bad.
No.
Yeah,
no,
that's
it's not much
bad at
different
all.
than an oven.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, when I smoked the brisket and stuff, it was at 225, but that was like a 14-hour smoke because these are huge.
Yeah.
The smallest pork butt I could get was like 14 pounds.
Oh wow! Holy smokes!
And it came in 2 pieces. It was a monster. It was like this big.
How big is your smoker? I didn't realize it was that big.
It's about that wide and about that tall.
Oh, it is pretty large for those, because we are on radio, so nobody can see. But yeah, okay.
It's a 30-inch.
That's a good size.
It's called the 30-inch master built smoker.
Okay, all right, bigger than I thought.
Yeah, so
you'll
I was
have to
able to
let
do all
us know.
3 at the same time.
Well, it was funny because I was listening to the show yesterday, and you were talking about this, and Bob Plass was saying he thought pastrami was some form of bologna, and I thought it was some form of salami. I didn't realize it was corned beef.
Yeah,
it was a form of smoked corned beef.
Brisket.
Did not know
Yeah.
that. All right, so you'll have to let us know how that.
I'm gonna try. Well, yeah, I'm looking for a place to slice it. If it does come out good, if it's not horrible, I'm gonna try a little bit, and if it does come out good, I want to look for a place to slice.
Well, I'm offering on air. You know, we have a commercial slicer at the senior center, so I know that Joanne and Sandy would be happy to help you with that. If you need that, just let us know.
If it's not horrible, I'll bring some over.
Okay. And staying on the food theme, I do want to announce we had Stephanie Graves on our show from the Governor Center a few weeks ago, and just as a reminder, on Wednesday, February 21st at 9 a.m., they're having a breakfast. It is open to the public. Susanna Seymour, who was also on the show with us, is the Director of Rehabilitation at Governor Center, which is located right on Broad Street, 66 Broad Street. And she's going to be talking about rehabilitation at the Governor Center. They've also done a lot of renovations over there, so this is also an opportunity for folks to, to get in there and check out Governor Center and see what it's all about. And now that I'm looking at this, when this first came across my desk, I thought, oh, well, it's on a Wednesday morning, and I do the show, and then I have my, I go over to the press room, and but the 21st, I may just go to breakfast at Governor Center.
There you go.
That might work. So anyway,
it's actually good to kind of understand what they got over there. So if somebody asks you a question,
absolutely. Well, it's been years since I've been there. It's probably been, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years since I've been there. I have not been there since they finished the renovations. They were kind of in the middle of them. So you do need to RSVP, and the phone number to Roxanne Cotton is 241-1076. So again, if you'd like to do breakfast at the Governor Center, the RSVP is, I just realized, and you have to RSVP by today because it's next Wednesday.
You better call.
So call. So 241-1076. I'm going to put this right on the top of my pile so I check my calendar and make sure I can go to that. The other announcement that I want to make is we just got the tickets for the Westfield High School Band, the Blue Sapphire Pops concert.
Yeah,
so this is an annual. Yeah, this is an annual. They do it in March. So the seniors, this is only open to seniors, can get a sneak preview of the 65th annual Westfield High School Pops concert. It's the sneak preview is March 9th, which is a Friday. 2018 at the Westfield High School Gymnasium. They serve lunch at 11:15, and then the concert goes from 11:45 to 12:45. This year, it will be the Westfield High School Band, the Jazz Ensemble, and the Jazz Combo, directed by Patrick Kennedy, of course. The luncheon is prepared and served by the Westfield High School Culinary Arts students, and funding for this luncheon, which is so popular, and we run out of tickets every single year. Quickly, we run out of tickets. So those of you who are listening this morning, you have a heads up because we just got the tickets and I just put the sign on the front door that they're available. The funding for this is graciously provided by Sarah Gillette Services for the Elderly. We do have a limited number of free tickets. They're free, first come, first serve. We're limiting it to 4 tickets per person.
Yeah.
But of course, if you're a couple, you can get 4 and your spouse can get 4, because I know people like to go and, sit with their friends and so forth. But I will warn you, there are fewer than 200 tickets, just because of the funding, because that's, that's how much.
And probably the space they have up there too.
It also has to do with how the lunch, just making the lunch for folks. They can't do it for 500 people. So.
It also looks like JP's Talk About Town will be originating from, because he's setting up.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So we're able to do the science fair up there this past week.
Yep.
And now we're going to do JP's show up there for that day.
Do you know, speaking of the science fair, because of course that was last Thursday when we were dealing with a weather event where we had a late opening. So did the science fair did that pull off? Did that go well and so forth?
It was a little nice and quiet for Patrick's show from 6 to 8.
Right, I know, because it was because it was a delayed opening.
If you don't have Facebook, but when I took a picture at the beginning of the superintendent's show, and you could see all the tables and the other side of the stands, and then I took a picture with about a half an hour to go, and you couldn't see past 10 feet.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, well that's great. Before we get to our 7:15 break, I have one more announcement to make, and that is that CFS Westfield Dollars for Scholars is going to be doing their annual document shred day at the Senior Center. We do this. We host this every year in our parking lot. They don't even come into the building. On this year, the date is Saturday, April 21st. They always do it right after taxes because this is a great opportunity for you to get your personal information that you do not want to throw in the recycle bin. You want it shredded. So from 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. or until the truck is full. It's rain or shine. No early birds, please. Don't start coming into the parking lot at 7:30 in the morning. You want to bring your documents to be shredded and recycled. They're asking for a $5 donation, which will go to CSF Dollars for Scholars. So it stays right here in the Westfield community for our students. So $5 for every box. You're limited to 3 boxes of documents, and shredding is done by Valley Green Shredding. So that is coming up on Saturday, April 21st, and we'll just be making the announcements between now and then. It is 7:15. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses. So this is our second Jackie DeShannon song, and it's called Put a Little Love in Your Heart, again, sticking with the non-romantic love songs on Valentine's Day.
Independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. Visit betsplumbing.com or 14 Coleman Avenue, Westfield. Public welcome.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Commercial Distributing Company of Westfield. Now in its third generation of family ownership, Commercial is one of the premier beverage distributors of Western Massachusetts. The Plasek family and the staff of Commercial Distributing wishes you good times throughout the year and urges you to drink responsibly. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Wally Computer Associates, one of the largest technology providers in North America. Headquartered in Southwick, Wally provides all of the products and services that you'd expect from a world-class technology partner to schools, colleges, businesses, as well as state and local governments and agencies. Wally Computer Associates, meeting all of your technology needs. On the web at WCA.com. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. Visit on the web at baystatedental.com.
Wednesday mornings from 6 till 8, it's Tina Gorman with Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:20. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses. It is Wednesday, February 14th. It is Valentine's Day. It is Ash Wednesday. And it is also the second Wednesday of the month. And on the second Wednesday of the month, second hour, we are joined by Joe Rouse, Director of the Health Department here in Westfield. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning. You can't see.
That's okay. I can see. Yeah. Joe's hiding
He's in
behind
the
the camera.
JPEG Luca spot.
He is in the JPEG Luca. Hide behind the board spot. And also Steve Cipriani, the health inspector from the health department. So welcome, Steve. You've been on the show before.
Yep, one time.
Yep. Perfect. So, what's new in the health department? What do we want to? There's always a lot of stuff we can talk about.
There's
so
a lot of stuff.
Where do we want to start today?
After his
Joe?
last appearance, I started putting Mass 211 stuff on channel 12.
right.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. That was really interesting. I always learn stuff.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
From my guests. That's which is great.
I know. I was just thinking of that this morning. What an education you must get from
I do.
all the people that you have in
Oh
here.
my gosh, so much. And Pete,
Yeah.
Pete even more than me because he has all of the guests from all of the hosts. But
Right.
absolutely, I learn things every week. It's really that's been the real plus.
I told Tina at one point, I think I'm the most educated voter in the city of Westfield.
I agree with him. I think
yeah,
that he is. I think that he is. So
Yeah.
what's the topic this
Well,
morning? Where do you want to start, Joe?
I think I was thinking about it, all the things that we've talked about over the months and years.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that we do a lot of that we haven't really talked about in detail yet is our restaurant inspections.
Okay.
So I know we talked about home food safety at one point.
We did.
And that's all great, but I thought maybe people might want to hear about our process and some little tips and hints, and then maybe follow it up with some foodborne illness type thing, like if the restaurant fails.
What can happen if it goes bad?
Right, if we don't catch something, what happens? Yeah.
And before we get into that, I'm going to go back to something that Pete and Bob Plass were talking about yesterday, and I don't remember who asked the question. I believe it was Bob on how long you can keep meat in a freezer, right?
Right.
Was that what?
Traditionally, if you freeze it properly, I think it's about a year.
I'm going to ask the health people that are here. What is the answer to that question?
We have a chart actually from the USDA that says how long you can keep certain things refrigerated and then frozen.
Yeah.
So for the most part, scientifically, anything frozen is good indefinitely, but then it becomes a quality thing.
Okay.
Right.
So
it's more the taste as opposed to is it safe? Yes, it's safe, but it might not taste that great.
Correct. So different time frames for different types of foods, but a year, that's about it. And after that, you're going to start getting freezer burn and yuckness, and it depends on how it's packaged too.
Yes.
If you have hamburger for more than a year and you look at the date and you go, I think I'll just make tacos out of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right,
it's still
exactly.
good and it
Yep.
has all that other flavor you can't tell. So,
But you're probably
right.
not going to want to make burgers out of it. Just
Right.
something that you can doctor
Yeah.
up and throw some tomato sauce or spices in there. Okay.
It's
All
good in
right.
your-
So
it's
now
good
that
in
we
your
have the
pasta
answer to
sauce.
that question, because when you were talking about that yesterday, I thought, well, what is the answer to
Remember,
that?
I'm
I
kind
really
of a
didn't know.
I'm kind of a foodie, so you tend
Well,
to
your
listen
answer,
to things
yeah,
like
and
that.
your answer sounded reasonable, and I've done that myself. I thought, well,
Yeah.
I with meat, and I'm pretty careful about double bagging it and freezer bagging it and all that other good stuff.
But just like in a commercial kitchen, even in your own home, you should buy the freezer bags and write it with a Sharpie on it.
yeah, I
and
always
date.
do that. I always date
absolutely.
it and rotate your food. So put the older stuff to the front. Okay, now we've talked about all that.
Now you
but
sound like a
let's-
grocery store.
Well, I know. Let's go back to what Joe wants to talk about, which is restaurants.
Yeah. So the number changes obviously from year to year, but
Okay.
what about Steve? How many do we do?
We're around
do we
140,
have
150.
of the actual real restaurants. We have different categories of restaurants, so I guess
Okay.
we'll start there.
Yeah.
And we have a class 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
The ones are obviously the big ones, the Applebee's and the ones with the full kitchens. Those are all
And sort of
class
high
1.
volume
Right.
kind of
Yeah,
places.
high volume and handling potentially hazardous foods and and
Like
that-
raw chicken is considered a hazardous food.
it is.
I was
yeah.
actually going to ask you that question, Joe. So, what is considered I've never heard that term, hazardous food.
Yeah,
What would
so
that be?
in the code, the way it defines a potentially hazardous food, that's what they call it, even
Okay.
though we know it's hazardous, but we'll say potentially hazardous.
Okay.
I guess it's potentially hazardous if it's not handled properly or if it's not cooked properly. Otherwise,
Okay.
it's not, but
Okay.
whatever, in its raw form. So the definition of that is anything that requires temperature control.
Okay.
So when an item is potentially hazardous, when it's removed from temperature control. So
Understood.
if it's anything...
Potato salad.
Potato salad is potentially hazardous, yeah. And there are even some things you wouldn't think of in the fruit and vegetable world that are potentially hazardous. And
Okay.
cooked rice is a potentially hazardous food. It needs to have
Really?
temperature control.
Yeah, cooked rice.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the kind of stuff that people
Wow.
don't think of. We should
I
have talked
wouldn't
about
even
that.
know
Cooked rice can absorb almost anything.
Yeah. So there's only a couple ways that a food can be considered non-potentially hazardous, and it's based on its pH and it's based on its water activity.
Okay.
Those two things are what allow microorganisms to grow and be poisonous.
Okay.
So, if you think about high acidic food,
Yeah.
could be considered non-potentially hazardous because it's not going to allow
It's
for
gonna
the
kill
growth
it.
of- it's going to kill it. It
Like
won't-
orange juice.
orange juice, yeah, even tomato sauce,
Okay.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. So,
Okay.
and then the water activity is also another thing. So anything that's dehydrated, like beef jerky, the water activity in that is not high enough to allow for the growth of.
Right, because it's
Microorganisms.
basically been dehydrated.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So what would a place like the Westfield Jerky, what kind of class kitchen would that be?
So they're
We
different
haven't
because
gotten that far.
right, yeah. Well, they're actually outside of our licensing as far as what they do for prep there because they're considered a wholesaler.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're licensed by the state separately.
Oh, I didn't
which
know
is-
that. Okay.
And that's a whole big process because to be a licensed wholesaler, you have to have a separate room for every process that you do.
Oh, wow.
So they won't let you just do everything in a regular kitchen. It's
Okay.
you have to have the room where you do the slicing. You have to have the room where you do the seasoning. You have to have a room where you do the dehydrating. So
Do you check in
it's-
with those guys every so often, even though it's a state controlled?
Yeah, we do only because they are licensed as us as a retailer because they sell the jerky out of the
Store,
they have the
right.
retail area there.
Yep.
But we don't routinely inspect their wholesale area. The state does that. So.
Okay,
Wow.
so I want to go back to the classes. You said there were
Yep.
4 classes. So the
Yep.
class 1 would be your higher volume, bigger kitchens. So then what is class 2?
You want to go ahead?
Sure.
I'm talking
Steve?
too much.
Yeah.
The class 2s would be your mobile food, as well as your caterers.
Okay, mobile food meaning like a food truck?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yep. And then for the class 3, those would be, your regular convenience stores, whether they have bagged foods. They are allowed to do very simple things in those as well, whether it be hot dogs, coffee,
Okay.
as long as it falls under the non-potentially hazardous purview. And then our class 4 would be our temporary food permits. So that would be, say a food truck wants to come into town and do one event. We won't have them be licensed mobily. What we'll do is we'll license them temporarily, which means that they could do the event for that one day, and then that would be it.
So do you have to do, like when they have the concerts on the green and they have food trucks there, do you have to get involved with that?
Yep.
Okay, as a temporary, just for a day. Same thing when they do the food fest here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So something like the snack bar at Babe Ruth or Little League is a class 3. They have to get, well, some of them are even higher than that, right?
Well, no, they are class, because one of the definitions, our definition of a class 3, it's limited food preparation, or prepackaged food or non-potentially has. So in a place like a church kitchen where they don't serve every day,
right?
It's maybe once a month or twice a month that they do a dinner or something. We consider that limited food preparation. So we're not going to make them have like even though they do have full commercial kitchens, the category is a little bit different because they're not doing it day in, day out.
Okay. All right. So you know what? Let's take a little break here, because then I want to get into how this whole process works. I'm already fascinated. So it is 7:29. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses. I'm looking down on my cheat sheet. We're doing our Valentine's Day non-romantic songs. This one, this is.
Bank has been an important community presence and commercial leader in the Pioneer Valley, with convenient full banking services in Westfield, West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut. Visit us on the web at westfieldbank.org. WSKB's programming is generously underwritten by Whip City Fiber. Westfield Gas and Electric wants to help you decide where they offer gigabit speed Whip City Fiber Internet next. Turn your neighborhood into a fiberhood. Get on the list today at www.whipcityfiber.com. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Wednesday mornings start off right from 6 to 8 a.m. with Tina Gorman and Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:34. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses. It is Wednesday, February 14th. It is Valentine's Day. It is also Ash Wednesday. My guests this hour, second hour, are Joe Rouse, director of the health department here for the city of Westfield, and Steve Cipriani, who's a health inspector, and we're talking all things restaurants. So, Joe and Steve, so you talked about the fact that so for food establishments, they are classified into 1, 2, 3, or 4 different, one of 4 categories. Mm-hmm. So now, once a restaurant has been classified, then what happens next? What does that designation mean? So what's the difference in your world between a class 1 and a class 2?
Well, the categories were redone probably about 20 years ago when I first started, only because I wanted to make it more of a risk assessment type categorization.
And who actually does does the city classify them,
yes.
or does some other entity? It's the city.
Yep, it's the Board of Health does.
Okay.
So I went with them with a proposal. We used to have it broken down by seating capacity, and that's how you were classified.
Okay, the number of...
Yeah, it didn't make any sense because it's like, you could have...
Church hall could seat 200.
That's what I was going to say. I was thinking the same thing. It's like you go to a church hall and you got a couple hundred people.
So now it's just all risk assessment. That's how they're categorized. Highest risks are class 1, obviously, and then down from there. So, but we should get into the nitty gritty of the whole inspection process.
Let's do that.
That's what I think that it would be interesting to me if I didn't know it.
I'm very interested.
Yeah. So all of our inspections are unannounced, and we're supposed to, by state mandate, do all of our establishments twice a year.
Okay.
And that hardly ever happens.
How many hours you work a week, Steve?
Never. Yeah. No, I mean,
be a lot.
Yeah, that's
right?
tough.
And if you do the math, it's just impossible.
Yeah.
That's the same with most boards of health in the whole state. Okay. So we're not alone in that respect. But anyway, we do prioritize the class 1s and get out to do those. And like I said, they're all unannounced. You just show up.
Okay.
And they're usually very surprised and most of the time very accommodating, but you do have the ones where you run into the resistance just by the fact that you're there. And they take exception to that.
Right. Oh, it's not a good time.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly. I'm sorry. This doesn't work for us.
We're busy.
We're busy preparing food.
So we have the 2 inspectors now, Steve and Tom, who do the majority, if not all, of the food inspections. I put in my 15 years of it, but I still love it. I still like to get out there and do it. But I'll let Steve talk about the actual process once we arrive on the scene.
So, Steve, my first question to you is, when you go out and do one of these unannounced, are you by yourself or do you do it with the other health inspector?
Usually Tom and I are together, but there are times that we'll split up if we have multiple places to hit in one day, or it all depends on the situation, really.
So you go in unannounced. Here I am. Do you have are there certain times of the day, or
as long as the business is in operation, we're allowed to do our inspection?
Okay.
So basically, what'll happen is I'll walk in the front door of the place. I'll walk up to the counter. I'll introduce myself to an employee. I'll let them know where I'm from, who I am, and then basically from there I'll just say all right. Whether you like it or not, I'm coming into the back.
Yeah, here I go.
Usually the first thing that I'll do is I'll walk directly to the back of the restaurant just to see if there's anything that, really raises an eyebrow, like, that definitely shouldn't be happening. What is this? And, if I don't get that sensation right off the bat, the next thing I'll do is I'll go and wash my hands, because, always trying to show the employees at the restaurant that, washing your hands, you can't do it enough. Mm-hmm. So just try and
very important.
Set a good, example with that. And then from there, I kind of just start making my way around. I try and get in touch with the person in charge just to let them know that I'm there as well. And
now,
then,
I assume, do you go in kind of like with a checklist? I mean, I assume you've got some kind of a written. Oh, you do. Okay,
Yep.
so
I
you've got
actually
your
brought
written
one with
form
me.
here. Good.
So
okay.
that was my little cheat sheet in case
No,
I got
that's
a little
good.
jammed up here.
Yeah, that's good. So, like, what are some of the things that are on your cheat sheet over here? What are some of the things on the form that you're looking for? I mean, you said when you first walk in, you're kind of looking, is there anything obvious that jumps out at me?
A couple of things that I think are like absolutely the main most important are definitely the hand wash facilities, making sure that they have soap, hot water, and paper towels at the hand wash station, and making sure that they're not using that sink for anything else. It's strictly for hand washing.
Okay.
Then the other big thing would be figuring out who, if it's not the person in charge, figuring out who the food protection manager is. So
what does that mean? What
does
a food protection manager do?
That would be someone that went and took a class on food safety, and basically they've been taught the proper ways to handle food, store food, cook food, prepare food.
Now, is that part? I'm playing dumb here, but is that part of like the Serve Safe?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Okay,
there's just a couple of different.
Because I know that my kitchen, manager and my kitchen assistant are required to be Serve Safe certified. Say that 6 times fast.
There are a couple different certifications that are very similar to the Serve Safe that are accepted by us as well, though.
Okay, all right. So that's what we're talking about there. So you need some kind of documentation. I know that, for us, it's like I keep it on file. I have them keep it on file. Personnel has it on file. So you're looking for some documentation that someone is certified and it's up to date, because they do have to, just to let the public know.
Right.
It's not like a one-shot deal.
Nope, they expire every 5 years.
Yeah. Right. So you have to go back for more training, and things do change. I think
Definitely.
that was, sometimes I guess the thinking changes as well.
Well, that actually did happen. I don't want to cut you off,
Yeah,
but
no,
the
that's okay.
years ago when I first started, the inspections were primarily a facility type of an inspection. So you would look at floors, walls, and ceilings, and that was, maybe an indicator of whether the place was clean or not clean, in good repair or not. And then they started to realize you need to shift the focus more on the employee health and hygiene and food handling.
Yeah.
So that's where the Serve Safe kind of came in. They made it mandatory for there to be at least one full-time person on staff who has that training, because they need to know it's not all about just having the place look good.
Right. The floor can be clean, but if you're not handling the chicken well.
Yeah, and quite honestly, I mean, if you
problems.
look back to the olden times, I guess nobody ever really got sick from a dirty floor.
Right,
It's like a dirty counter, maybe a prep area. People not washing their hands, but and just as a statistic, 80% of foodborne illness is attributed to an infected food handler. So.
Okay, so how does that? Walk us through that process. So how does that happen? In fact, so when you say that, what does that mean?
That means that,
Give us an example.
So it's just not washing your hands after you go to the bathroom.
Okay.
If you're symptomatic with anything, I mean, it could even be a respiratory thing. It doesn't have to be gastrointestinal.
Yeah.
You can transmit that through food by just simply not washing your hands. There is a requirement in the code for people to report to the person in charge if they have any symptoms of illness. Now, that's a challenge for everybody, only because usually the people that are working in the kitchen need that job.
Yeah.
They need that paycheck, and I totally understand it. And they don't want to get sent home because they have the sniffles or a cough or maybe they, have some sort of stomach issue.
Yeah.
But they are, by law, required to notify the person in charge, and then that person has to decide what to do with them, either exclude them or restrict them. So anyway, but yeah, that's the 80%. It's from an infected food handler. It's not because the floor is dirty. It's not because there's a crack in the wall. It's not because there's grease buildup on the hood or something. So
my question is, when you go in and do those inspections, Steve, how do you know that? I mean, do you actually watch people do the food prep?
Yep, absolutely. There's, part of the inspection is walking around, looking under, the oven, under all the, the equipment and stuff like that. But then, I will stand there and I'll, watch the chef prepare a couple meals, prepare, whatever he's doing, and, make sure he's, changing his gloves, washing his hands, making sure he's not cross-contaminating. There's a bunch of things that are very easy to see that, a chef could be doing wrong or right.
So let's say that you see the chef doing something wrong. What do you do?
Basically, just I try to make it as educational as possible.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, going in there and screaming and yelling, I haven't found that to be as effective as just being like, hey, have you, you know, what you're doing there is wrong. You know, you really should be changing your gloves, or you should be doing X, Y, and Z. I will put it on the form, but I will, you know, write something like corrected on site or spoke with employee, and, you know, we rectified and came up with a solution to not have this issue happen again.
So, you know what, you mentioned a couple times now the gloves. So let's talk a little bit about the gloves, because I'm always a little confused about that. I mean, I understand the purpose of wearing gloves, but as you said, depending on what you're doing with them, I'm thinking, okay, well, wait a minute, how is this helping? You know, if you're wearing your gloves, you do something, you know, you prepare food, then you go out and wipe the tables down with a disinfectant, then you come back and I'm like, okay, so why is that any, you know, how's that helping? I don't think it is.
So one of the major things with gloves is anything that is ready to eat. So say your burger is completely prepared and it's ready to come out.
Yes.
If anybody is to touch that, they need to be wearing gloves.
Right.
So
We
for
got
any
that.
ready to eat product.
Okay. So anybody who's serving, like my servers wear gloves at the senior center when they're serving. Okay.
Yep. Not at all restaurants. You know, if the server is holding the bottom of the plate and, you know, not touching the food, then that is okay to not wear the gloves.
Okay. I
Yeah,
make them wear them anyway.
It's the code actually says no bare hand contact with ready to eat food.
Right, okay.
So you could, I mean, if you wanted to use tongs, if you wanted to
which
use
is-
wax
yep,
paper, like
yeah.
at Dunkin' Donuts, they'll grab a donut and with a wax paper. There's a barrier there. They're not directly contacting
Okay, gotcha.
the food. so.
Understood. Okay.
And
All right.
also with the gloves, there is a hand washing protocol associated with that. It's not just, you know, you're supposed to be washing your hands every time you take the gloves off, because if you think about it, most of the time when you have the gloves on, your hands get sweaty.
Yeah.
That's bacteria. That's
Yeah.
germs, right? So you don't want to transfer that to the outside of a new pair of gloves. You got to wash your hands in between.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of the chain companies, they do have that in their employee manual or handbook
Okay.
or whatever.
Yep.
There is a hand washing protocol for that.
And we're going to go to break in just a second, but before I forget this, I'll forget this question by the time we get back. So like a fast food restaurant, like a McDonald's or a Wendy's or something, where does that fall in the category? Is that a class 1 or a class? Yeah, because I mean, there's a ton of, you know, obviously food handling, even though people aren't necessarily sitting there eating.
right.
A lot of it is
Things
takeout.
move a
I'm
lot
sure.
quicker in a
Yeah.
restaurant like that than
Holy
a sit-down
smokes.
restaurant.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Okay, so
Yep.
that would be considered a class
Yep,
1,
full
category
kitchen.
1.
Yeah, and the class ones are
Class one.
really, if you think about it, they have a full kitchen and they're not limited to what they can do. They can do
Right,
anything
they can do anything.
want. Yeah.
Okay. All right. It is 7:45. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses. We're going to play our last non-romantic Valentine's Day song. It's called "Love Train" by the OJs. This is way back, guys. This is with Leisure Suits. You know,
for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Barnes & Noble College Bookstore at Westfield State University, right here in the Ely Campus Center. Whether you're a student, faculty member, or friend of the university, it's the place to shop. Everything from Westfield State t-shirts, sweatshirts, and gift merchandise to all of your academic needs. Offering textbook materials in new, used, ebook, and rental formats. Visit the bookstore on campus or online at www.westfieldstate.bncollege.com. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Comcast and Xfinity.com. With the Xfinity Double Play and Xfinity Triple Play, you can choose to bundle Comcast services for a great value. Experience Xfinity TV, Internet, home phone, and home security services. Explore all that Xfinity has to offer in the Westfield area on the web at xfinity.com.
Underwriting for community broadcasting on WSKB is provided by the Press Room, a community coffee and snack cafe right in the heart of Westfield's Gaslight District. The news of the day always includes a steaming cup of coffee or tea, donuts, bagels, pastry, and other delectable treats at the Press Room. Open weekdays 7 to 5, Saturdays and Sundays 7 to noon. The Press Room, 62 School Street, Westfield.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
It's Tuesday morning from 6 till 8. Wow, it's Tuesday with Bob Plass.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:51. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses. It is Wednesday, February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day, and it's also Ash Wednesday. And we are here with Joe Rouse and Steve Cipriani from the Westfield Public Health Department. We're talking all things restaurant this morning, excuse me, and restaurant inspections. So Steve, you were kind of talking about food handling and some of the things that you're looking for. So one of the things you're looking for is how employees that work at restaurants handle food, and are they doing it properly and appropriately and safely? What are some of the other things that you look for on your form that you're busy filling out?
Another huge thing is temperatures, making sure that the refrigerators are kept below 41 degrees, and and then also that everything is properly stored in there. So that's one thing that a Serve Safe manager would definitely learn in that class, is how to make sure that your walk-in cooler is stored properly. That way, in case if there was any sort of it would limit any chances of cross-contamination.
So what is that? So explain to me, because I'm not all my kitchen people are Serve Safe, so I know they're going to know this. But when you say stored, to me it's like, okay, if something needs to be refrigerated, we put it in the cooler. So, but is there a way that it has to go in the cooler?
Right. Well, so basically, whenever I go into a cooler, first thing I look for is I'd like to see everything covered. That way, in case if there's anything floating around in the air, all the walk-in coolers have a huge fan that is blowing out the cold air, so there's sometimes little bits of dust and things, so making sure everything's covered is one thing, but also going back to making sure that it's stored properly is you want to keep things that are ready to eat on top on the highest of shelves, and then anything that would be raw on the lowest, and then there's various meats that you want to keep at the bottom. And
I've watched a few Chef Ramsay kitchen nightmares.
Well, I haven't.
So when it's done improperly.
So why? What is the rationale behind those certain items on the top shelf and certain on the
so say
shelves?
You have some hamburg meat, and it starts to drip the you just don't want it to fall onto anything else. So say something that won't be cooked, you definitely don't want the blood or the juices to go onto your lettuces or carrots or anything like that, because then it just gives more chances for cross-contamination.
I have to say, a lot of this, it's common sense and it makes a lot of sense, but that is not something that I would have thought. Well, I mean, I typically would put, like, if I'm defrosting meat in my refrigerator, I put a plate underneath it for that reason.
Right.
But I hadn't really thought about that in a cooler, because the coolers have the shelving is
pervious,
it's like yes, thank you. It's like it's wire shelving. It's not like board shelving. So things can drip under. Okay, so that makes sense. So you're looking for that when you go into coolers, and I assume freezer same. It's got to be a certain temperature. Okay.
It's it's actually very interesting, to be completely honest. Every restaurant's different, everything, like you said, a lot of things seem to be common sense, but sometimes the restaurant owners, they see it every day and they sometimes get immune to it and they don't realize that it is wrong. So, sometimes I'll just be like, oh, hey, did you notice that you have some meat above the eggs over there in the bottom corner? Oh, I didn't notice. Someone else must have loaded the fridge.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm betting if you're a restaurant and you're busy and it's like you're going to throw it on the closest shelf that's right there right now. It's like, okay, I can move this later, but right now I've got 3 meals that I have to get out or 10 meals I have to get out or whatever. And then you don't go back, you get sidetracked. I'm sure that happens. So that's got to happen all the time. Mm-hmm. I would think. Mm-hmm. I would think. All right, so we're looking at coolers, we're looking at freezers, you're looking at overall cleanliness.
Yes, yeah, everything, like Joe said before, like the old inspections used to be more about the facility. I mean, we still look at those, you want to make sure that the floors don't have, cracks and holes in them. That way, when they're mopping and sweeping at the end of the night, debris and soils aren't going into there where they can then, breed bacteria.
Sure. Okay. And anything else that I would like that the public kind of wouldn't think of that you're looking? You mentioned before, Joe, I think you had mentioned the hood.
Yeah.
This is I never realized until we opened, sort of the commercial kitchen at the new senior center, like this hood thing is a big deal. You've got hood inspections and the fire department has to be there and all these other. So explain to people, like, when you talk about the hood, what are you talking about?
So anytime you have especially like a flat top grill, or anything that produces what the fire department likes to call grease-laden vapors.
Oh, grease-laden vapors. There's a mouthful.
Yep. So that all of those types of equipment need to be underneath a hood, which is not only for ventilation, but they always have also have a fire suppressant system built into that called an Ansel system, so that if there's a flare-up of something, that it'll extinguish it all, hopefully right there and then, and not spread.
Okay, I just have to say right now that I finally learned what an Ansel system is.
Oh, yeah, you've heard it before. But
yes, I've heard it before. When we were building the new senior center and the fire department said, well, the Ansel system. And then, I would get POs that come across my desk because we inspection of the Ansel. And I'm like, what the heck is that? Now I know.
Yeah.
Babe Ruth is dealing with that right now for their concession stand.
That's good.
Yes. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, it does.
Okay.
It does.
So it's an automatic fire suppressant system.
Yep.
I knew it had something to do with fire, but I'm like, I don't know what. What does that have to do with? Perfect. Thank you.
And those things happen. I mean, it happens more often than you know now.
I'm sure it does.
A lot of times, we just had a situation last weekend on a Saturday morning with an establishment in Westfield where I got called from the fire department because they had a flare up at their, I think it was a Friolators. Anytime you have that really hot grease, it's almost inevitable.
Yes.
Something's going to happen. Now, in this case, it didn't deploy the Ansel system. They were able to knock it down with a Class K fire extinguisher.
Okay.
So that was real good on their part, and it didn't make a big, huge mess.
Yeah.
Yep.
You ever seen it go off at a gas station? It's the same type of system.
Oh, yeah.
Everything gets covered with powder.
Yeah,
because it snuffs everything out. One shot.
Yeah.
And you're closed. If that happens in a kitchen, and I've seen it before, you're closed for at least a day.
Yeah,
because you got to clean
up
every
the
nook
mess.
and cranny.
Yep. Right.
Oh my goodness. So let me ask you that. Okay, so I just want to finish with Steve here. So when you finish up with the inspection, then what happens? So you found some things that are good, some things that are maybe not so good or need improvement. So what happens with the owner of that establishment, Steve?
Gotcha.
Does that person gets a report, I assume?
Yeah.
Or?
So basically, the page that I bring with me has a carbon copy on the bottom, and so if a restaurant. Basically, if things go pretty smoothly and there's only a couple minor violations, what I'll do is I'll find the person in charge and, we'll just go over it and we'll have a little discussion about each one. We'll point out where we found the violation and then we'll try and get it rectified on site before we leave. If by chance we find a lot of violations, what we'll do is we'll do the same thing. We'll give them the quick review, but then I'll go back to the office and fill out and write up an actual violation report, which will go to the restaurant owner and then as well as the person in charge.
So let's just play that out. So let's assume that you find several major things. Do you have the authority, Joe, as department head, do you have the authority to close the restaurant down?
Yeah, actually, any of the inspectors are authorized agents of the Board of Health. So they can do that. It has been done, not recently, thank gosh.
Yeah.
Back when I first started, we had some bad eggs in the city who kind of needed to be tough love, I guess.
Yeah.
in honor of Valentine's Day.
Yes. There you go.
But the we have a good crew now. I mean, really, it took a long time, and the guys that are doing the inspections now are kind of carrying on the good relationship with the owners and operators of these places. So, probably said it before, but we're all about the voluntary compliance. You know, we're not here to bust anybody.
Yeah.
There have been times where we have to close places. Yeah, absolutely. But in that case, we do usually give them the option. How about you put a sign on the door that says closed for vacation or renovation, or rather than us have to say closed per order Board of Health, your business is going to
plummet.
It's going to tank.
Can I play a clip of something really bad?
No, not right now. Hold on, because I want to. You can do that when we're done. But Joe, I want to ask you. So, if how does the public know? I mean, if there are problems with a restaurant, or if I just wanted to find out what's a really great safety-wise. Can I get that information? Is that public information, or is it not public information?
It's public information in the sense that you can request to see the latest report from an establishment.
Okay.
By just word of mouth, I mean, we kind of have to be careful about who we say is good. Everybody always asks. That's the first thing when they know. Of course. They go, well, what are the good places? What are the bad places? So the canned answer to that is everybody's good, because if they weren't, we wouldn't be doing our job. Okay. Right? So that's that's the PC
And then
answer.
The second question to that is, Steve, where are you going out for dinner on Saturday night?
I get it all the time. Seriously.
You must get that all the time. It's like, okay, so where are you going for Valentine's Day? Okay, honey, we're booking wherever Steve's going.
Yeah, there's ways that people, if it just through their own observations, can tell.
You can tell.
Yeah, you can. So one of the things I always
see
say,
the actions of the staff, and that gives you a good tip of how things are going behind the scenes.
And then you look for those indicators, right? So if you go into the bathroom and it's a mess, same people that clean the bathroom clean the kitchen.
Okay.
So. All right, now this isn't 100% always true, but in my experience, that's what you see. And also there's a management issue too. So sometimes you'll get repeatedly really bad service, slow service, wrong orders. That's a management thing. Again, the same people that are managing those orders are managing the kitchen. So
the breakdown's continuous.
Yes,
and it's not, like I said, it's not 100% definite, but it is an indicator that. I mean, I'll say to the guys all the time, if you're just as a customer somewhere in Westfield, say you're going to a drive-through or something, and there's all sorts of pandemonium and you're waiting forever, that's an indicator that there's something going wrong in that kitchen. So we might need to get in there and take a look at it. It's not a punitive thing like, you made me wait 5 minutes for my coffee.
No.
It's more like, what's
going on?
Why am I waiting 5 minutes for my coffee?
What are you guys doing in there? What's wrong?
So how do you determine? It's 8:02, by the way, and you're listening to WSKB. That's okay. 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses. So we're going to wrap this up. But how do you determine it? You were saying before, Joe, technically you're supposed to be doing your inspections twice a year. That typically does not happen. So do you kind of do it on kind of a rotating schedule? Is that sort of how you manage things in the department?
Yeah, we try and keep it as much of a, if I don't really know how to put that in words. So basically,
you have your checklist.
Yeah,
kind of have your file that you're rotating through.
The longest gap in between, we'll go to those restaurants, and or if say I do get a call and I go into work and I have a voicemail saying at XYZ I saw this and that, and I feel I need to go out, I'll go out right.
So that
then.
would be a call from the public. So if the public felt there was a problem, they could call the health department.
Absolutely,
that happens all the time. Yeah.
We're going to end on that note. What is the phone number, Joe?
572-6210.
Okay, so if you've got a concern, you can call the health department, and we'll let them follow up on it. I want to thank my guests, Joe Rouse and Steve Cipriani from the health department, talking about restaurants today. This was so interesting. Really, I just love having you on. It's I always learn some new things. So thanks to both of you for coming on today. And Joe, you want to finish up with your saying?
Absolutely. Stay healthy, my friends.
There you go. Have a good one.
The last 24 hours was one of the toughest days ever spent in a restaurant. Last night, we did get rid of the chef, which was a positive move. Now I need Drew to step up to the mark, Jeremy to support his mother more. I got here early this morning, so I'm going to check out the place properly, with no interference. Jesus. Christ almighty, where do you start in a place like this? Roast beef. Dating back when? What is that there? Just meat defrosting. Again, no sign of what it is. Fresh Parma ham is caked in mould. This is outrageous. Look at it. It sticks to your fucking hand. It's that rancid. Whoa, fucking hell. That's just over 3 months old. Jesus Christ almighty. Oh, God.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Noble Hospital, a brand new name for a Westfield institution which is improving the health of our community every day with quality and compassion. Noble